I know a lot of you are probably skipping this fusion, but there's still some value to be had from the events. Let's talk about it.
Shoot him, kid.
Hello everybody, I'm Roadblock, and this is a Raid Shadow Legends video. And as always, well not always, but as frequently occurs on this channel, I discover something because of a mistake that I'm making, right? So it's the weekend, of course. I have been enjoying some other games, you know, because I'm not doing the fusion. I get to take a break from Raid a little bit. I've still been working hard. Today I did knock out a couple more stars, so you can see I've made a lot of progress on the big 3 for me right now, getting oh so close to Lydia. So that's all going very well, but we have this fusion going on. Now, I'm not going for the fusion, so I didn't particularly look at any of these events. Obviously, the summon rush, probably not worth putting any resources into, because the rewards that mean something would be much further down, and these rewards are not worth, 100 energy isn't worth a sacred shard, right? So this one, not so much, but there are other events that are still worth doing, and I kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit and make sure that there are things that are on your radar. For example, you've got a Mortal Soulstone. This isn't super high value, but this is a Dungeon Divers event. So what are you doing with your time, right? How are you spending your resources right now? Are you just sitting on them? Are you playing other games like I was, or are you still playing Raid? Because if you are, it might be a good idea to run some dungeons with your spare energy and see if maybe that's enough to get you a Mortal Soulstone or an Ancient Shard. Gear enhancement, I don't recommend going for these if you're not going for the fusion. You'll notice that my bar is pretty filled up. That is not because I'm going for it. That is because I am building gear for Faction Wars and the champions that I'm using in Faction Wars. Listen up, I just got a new promo link that you can use to follow along with me on my latest free-to-play adventure and get a free Elenaril as well as 3 more powerful epics as you level up. Here's how to do it. Log out of Plarium Play and uninstall. Click the link in the description and register with a brand new email. Launch Raid and complete the tutorial. Go to your inbox and claim your first champ. Don't miss out on your chance to get Elenaril right after signing up, as well as Fayne, Uugo, and Tagoar as you progress through Raid. Click on my link right now and let's crush this together. But the one that I really wanted to talk about today was the Champion Training Tournament. Now, there are some pretty good rewards in here. Obviously, there's a legendary book at 12,000 points. If I'm being completely honest, I don't think I'm not going to go for it. 12,000 points is a lot. And it's not that I feel like it's poorly priced, although I do feel I feel like 10,000 is a little more reasonable, but regardless, 12,000 points, that's just a lot of effort that I'm not that eager to give. But I will give a lot of effort for the materials that make a primal shard are going to be very, very valuable for anybody's account. Normally, I would even go for these on the main account, but I'm doing it on the free-to-play because the free-to-play needs it a little bit more. The main account can, buy a couple primals if need be. Here, I cannot, so I need to generate as much value as I can out of this event. Plus, I have a bunch of champions I want to train up, right? I've been talking about Faction Wars. I just leveled today. Biggin all the way to 6 stars. Got some gear on him. He's not built great, of course. I just don't have enough good gear to really go around. Like, my account is spread very thin. I could use the fitting room and the preset manager to make it easier on myself, but I like having multiple champions with gear so that I don't have to every time. I'm lazy. We know this. We talk about this all the time on the channel. I just don't want to have to swap my gear around at the last minute or every day while I do Faction Wars and remember what gear goes on who, etc, etc, etc. So I built him. He does enough. Really, the gear is on there for them to live more than to put out a ton of damage. It's more about getting them extra stats so that they don't die right away and can be healed and use their crowd control, etc, etc. So, but yes, the tournament, the Champion Training Tournament, I've been getting points in because I want those points, but I really want, or because I want those champions rather, but I really want to get these rewards too. So I'm going to continue pushing a little bit harder and get those. And of course, the fragments aren't useless. I admit that they are not the most valuable things in the world because it takes forever to get mod. And I don't know that mod is particularly good. I will say that for me, mod would be incredibly good. She would be the top tier support I've been looking for, but I don't think these handful of fragments are going to get me mod, but there is always that possibility that some of these cross fragments could get you just a little teeny tiny bit closer to mod, especially if you're in that gotta catch 'em all mentality. So, but I wanted to emphasize the need to keep an eye on these events, see if there's a reward in there that makes sense for you, because I almost just ignored all of it. Instead of playing the game a little bit today, I ignored it all. And of course, something that I wanted to touch on a little bit, something that I hear a lot. I hear a lot of people say that dungeons are no longer a great source of gear. I understand where they're coming from, but I don't necessarily agree with them. I mean, especially if you take a look at this free-to-play account where a lot of my gear on these champions is Savage gear, right? I just talked about building Biggin. I've got Ninja in Savage. I just built, I've got Teox is in that. I've got Trunda in Savage, and I built somebody else in Savage today as well. Oh no, here he is. I built Saito today. So you can see Savage gear is something that I need. And you'll notice that I, don't have a lot of great stats. Only 170 speed in this Savage gear, so the Savage gear is pretty underwhelming with the stats that are on it. So same thing here, Savage gear on my Seer as well. So I really could use that gear. So when there's a tournament for Fire Knight, I can kind of double dip a little bit. I say a little bit. It's not a true double dip, but I'm getting to farm Fire Knight and get a little bit for my investment of energy back as well. So I may not get a whole bunch of good Savage pieces, but I will get a handful of resources. And yeah, I will admit these resources are not particularly good, but it's something, right? And really what I'm mainly looking for is Savage gear. So there's that trade-off. There's the opportunity to get Savage gear, the opportunity to get Savage gear, but also have a chance at some additional rewards. And I know this may seem very obvious to so many of you guys, but I almost slept on it. I almost was like, I'm not doing a fusion. I could take a break this weekend. I don't have to play any raid. And then I realized, oh man, what a big screw up I almost made. So yeah, just wanted to shout that out. I know it's pretty obvious, but just don't sleep on the events. If you're not going for the fusion, still do some of them if you can. We all deserve a little break. And if that's your priority, if that's your prerogative, that's totally fine. But for me, I'm also really enjoying the game, so taking that break was less appealing for me a little bit because I was excited to get on this evening and build those faction wars teams and make some very significant progress. I am very close here and should be able to, knock on wood, to knock these out next week, I hope. So wish me luck with that, guys. But either way, we'll call this a video. I know it's a little short one, but I got some good content coming up. I do. We just haven't been pulling a lot of shards lately. So, which means good news for the upcoming shard pulls that I know will be happening. And, stay tuned next week. It's going to be an interesting week, and it's going to be a little chaotic for me and my schedule as well. Either way, guys, I just want to say thank you so much for all of your support. If you're new here and want to support the channel, the best way to do that would be to click that subscribe button. I just had the biggest brain fart. But yeah, either way, thanks for watching, guys. Take care.